Hey, so how are y'all feeling?
Pretty solid. Post Natties is kind of fun. It's weird because we're done now, but I mean, it was a blast and it's a lot of fun to look back on. A lot of stuff to look forward to for next year. But I mean, yeah, feeling really good.
Yeah. Want to go back and win it this time instead.
Yeah, seriously.
Wish
But
wish we could go back and change so many things, but hey, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
yeah,
It was honestly so much fun though, just getting to hang out with everyone.
Yeah, I
yeah,
wanted
it
to.
reminds me of like getting to play like travel baseball and stuff way back when, and just getting to like stay in a hotel with the guys and all that. And like it's just such a vibe, and getting to eat meals together, like getting to just like live with everyone for a week is really really cool.
Yeah, I wanted to start by just asking how the entire experience kind of was for each of you.
For sure. I mean, getting the getting all the hotels and stuff figured out is a little tough, but I mean, we made it happen, had somewhere to stay, but I mean, it's a blast just getting to stay in a room with the guys and getting to kind of like talk strategy before you go to bed and stuff and having to figure out how you're going to get your school done, which I think we all ended up doing okay getting our school knocked out. But I mean, it was so sick. The properties are beautiful. It's just really fun being in a different place, a different state. Like South Carolina is kind of unmatched, especially that time of year. Weather was beautiful. The sun was out, I think, 3 of the 4 days. So, I mean, it's
So
just fantastic being out there.
Mhm.
the 16-hour drive wasn't fun, at least for me and Asher. And Josh got the privilege of flying, but
And
he had
Yeah.
to man out the 16-hour drive with
Mhm.
two of our other guys. But no, it was a great experience. Had fun. Got like Asher said, the places were beautiful. It was like nature that I'd never seen before personally. So it was very fun for me. It was a great
Mhm.
experience. For them, for a lot of the guys there, they had already experienced something like that and they had kind of that background when it came to, I guess, the environment and that comes with going to nationals, but I had never had it. So stepping up to that environment and to the position I was in, it was honestly just something I was super grateful for. Had a lot of fun. Was able to was blessed enough to go out there, play all 4 rounds with my guys. Got to go see some of our other teammates go play their rounds. So it was an amazing experience, something that I really wanted to go again next year.
yeah, yeah, I think for me, it was definitely super rewarding going this year. Because it was at a new place this year and it was cool to see kind of what they did differently. Because it was in North Carolina last year. But they moved it to South Carolina this year. It was cool to see kind of what they did with the like how they put together. They did like two temporary courses. It was two or three, I think.
Mhm.
But they set them up, which was cool to see. And then just getting to hang out with the guys was super fun. And especially I didn't know two of the guys because we had to kind of throw together a last minute team so we could have a three full teams. So it was really cool getting to know two of the guys that joined.
Mhm. How did y'all go about deciding what teams consisted of what players?
Mm.
Asher,
Yeah, I mean, there's been some pretty like clear cut guys that have been in certain spots all year long. There was definitely a pretty clear cut four that were going to be on the top team going into every tournament all year. But one of our seniors, his name is Brendan. I think he's like 23, and he needed to stay home and lock in for the last semester to make sure he graduated on time. And so I respect him a lot for staying home and prioritizing his graduation. But Victor got the bump to come play with the top squad, and it was a little bit of a scramble putting. I think Josh touched on it, but a scramble putting together three full teams. We had enough guys all year to field three full teams at any given tournament for the most part. Um, but I mean, we play rounds. I mean, all year long. A lot of guys are playing three, four, sometimes five times a week. So we get a lot of reads on guys, and teams build chemistry throughout the year. We see like when teams play well together, which guys play well together, because there really is a big team aspect, especially at nationals. 3 of the 4 rounds are playing together as a team, not just individually. So knowing how players mesh together is a big deal. Which guys are left-handed, which guys are right-handed, what types of throws guys will favor. It's nice to know which guys will mesh together and which teams will be able to kind of like have the most diverse amount of shots to make things happen. But it was a little bit of a scramble, but it was really, really fun with the guys we had, and I think we all had a lot of fun with the squads that we were on.
I think this year it helped because we got a lot more events in prior to nationals.
Mhm.
So we were kind of able to experiment with different kind of teams just to see kind of how they played out. So I think that really helped in helping us decide the teams for nationals.
Yeah.
Sure. I know.
Yeah, like Asher. Oh,
Oh, sorry. You can keep going.
no, I was gonna mention how Asher said like we kind of had the impression of like what the teams were pretty much from the beginning. We kind of knew like what slots people were in, what like strength and weaknesses. We had worked out pairings. We had worked out, you know, before we even went. We already so the course we played at is a very famous course. So we already knew what shots were going to be required. We knew what holes we wanted to throw, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And like I said, I got blessed enough to get moved up. And while it was a bit of a shock, it was also just something that I was able to embrace and my team was able to embrace. I actually was partners with Asher, so I've Asher has been one of my main guys since I moved here to College Station. So while it was a little bit of a change when it came to the competitiveness of the actual university team, there was nothing new when it came to the fact that I've played with Asher so many times. I've played with the other guys so many times. So while there was a difference in chemistry and the difference in the amount of playing that we had done together competitively, we were able to pick it up really quick and able to adapt. And I'm sure all the other teams were able to do that too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
I
know
think
you.
I think Josh touched on it, but I'd love to reiterate just like we got to play, I think, roughly double the amount of tournaments we played last year. So, so much here. A lot more text. We didn't have to travel as far. That was nice as well.
Mhm. I know you touched on it a little bit earlier, but how did y'all's individual teams perform together?
Yeah, I can kind of touch on the team that played in Division One, our A team. But
My,
we
my
played really well on the courses that were really tough, which was pretty awesome because it's like when we played the championship level courses, the courses that challenge players the most, we kind of showed up. And so the only place we struggled is places where I feel like teams that may not have had as much skill are able to pick up ground. So there's one course that was definitely significantly easier that we played. And we just didn't shoot as high as we could have. But when we played the big, really tough courses, we definitely showed up and played well. But I mean, a sixth place finish, something to be happy about because I think there was somewhere around 200 schools playing tournaments all year long. Not everyone went to the national championship, but number six overall, something to be very happy about.
I can touch on at least what my team did. So we were in Division 3, which was our C team basically. We started off like pretty good. First day, I think we shot like 9 down, just middle-ish, higher like upper quartile-ish. Um, and then the next day for singles, we kind of struggled a bit. Except for one of our guys. One of our guys shot really well. But the other three of us kind of had some difficulties in that. But we were able to kind of bounce back after that for our next two team rounds, and we shot two more like solid rounds. I think last round we shot like 3 strokes off the hot round, so it was pretty good. But we definitely had a lot of rounds that were like almost really great. But it was still exciting to see a team that we put together just like a week before, just to play that well and to be able to. I think we finished 16th out of like 48. So being able to put a team together a week before and finish that well was really cool to watch.
And I got B team right here. Just search it up real quick. They finished 18th out of 80. So something to be really happy with too. I know they talked about how they kind of didn't have the best singles round either, but they were able to rally through their team rounds and work together, and they're in a respectable spot, especially in a very big field.
Yeah. And then we also had a women's team compete this year, which was really cool. It was the first time we've had two women go represent A&M and get to play in that tournament together. We've had an individual in the past that goes, but we never had enough to field a full team. I don't know exactly. I think they finished in the top third or something like that. They had a really respectable finish, but it was really awesome getting to take not only just men's teams this year, but also women's team. And that we're hoping that that grows in the future, because there's some schools that bring 4, 6 girls and they have multiple teams. And so that's a hope for a university this big. I think we definitely have opportunity to bring a women's team, if not multiple. So it was really fun getting to, this is the first time the university has competed in every division offered at the national championship, because in the past we've just taken men's teams playing in the mixed division, but this is the first time we've gotten to have a team compete in every single division, which was really, really awesome.
Very cool. I'd love to know how each of you would kind of assess your own personal gameplay throughout the tournament and how you did on a personal note.
Yeah, singles was not what we wanted as a team. I don't know if how much you know about disc golf, but it's like we have a thing called a rating, and it's like it's effectively a handicap that you have like for normal golf, but it's like just a number that you have that tells you how good a certain player is. And so attached to every person's profile, you can see kind of roughly how good someone is. And I was able to stay above my rating in my singles round, so I was able to play above what I normally do. But it was still just not, I mean, exactly what we wanted in singles. But from a team perspective, I mean, Ku and I were partners, and we were gelling really well because we had a lot of opportunities to make plays. And so there's a lot of holes where I would throw more of a safer shot. And since it's kind of like a doubles aspect, when I throw a safer shot, it would give him the opportunity to go for something bigger and try and make a big shot. And so I think, I mean, Ku will probably talk about it too, but we both executed pretty well as individuals in our team rounds to allow the other person to get more aggressive. And so we had holes where I made a safer play and he was able to get more aggressive. But I think roughly 90% of the time, one of us executed our shot pretty well. And so we were able to get a lot of birdies, make a lot of stuff happen. Definitely a lot more comfortable in our team rounds. We were able to get a lot more aggressive, try and get a lot of strokes back on the field. And so just staying in the fairways was really, really something that Ku and I think did pretty well, and the rest of the A team did well. But yeah, I mean, I was able to stay in the fairways, stay clean for the most part, but looking forward to hopefully jump on a few spots next year, try and make something happen, shake up the individual rankings.
Yeah, same here when it came to at least the individual ones. I was able to stay above my rating, but yeah, it was lackluster to say the least. It was not what we were hoping for, but at the end of the day, like Asher said, once we got to team rounds, that's where we really executed. That's where we played our best. Like Asher said, he gave me the ability sometimes to go throw a shot that I can be more confident in, and vice versa. There's many times where I knew Asher had a better shot at a certain hole than I would, and I would give him the chance to have that confidence. So, like you said, we just meshed very well together, and so did our other pairing, Noah and Reese. They've been a pair all year long, so they know how to play with each other. We have Reese, who pretty much hits every fairway possible, and Noah, who can throw across the world. So we had pairings that worked well with each other, and we allowed ourselves to go out there and shoot the best we could with giving each other like just that feeling of being able to be comfortable, which is something that you might not get in your singles round or you might not get with other types of pairings. So I think when it came to individual performance, we did the job or the role that we were assigned.
I think for me, coming in for singles, I had pretty high expectations, but I started off solid and then kind of fell apart middle of it. But I was able to kind of get back into a solid spot to finish, but it definitely wasn't the round I wanted. But for team round, I felt like I played really well. I had a lot of great drives for our team that just allowed us it put us in a really good position to get some good scores out there. And then the other guys on the team, we really meshed well with like putting. When one of us was having an off day, the other one was making big putts. So that really helped us out.
Yeah, Josh almost aced, which is a hole in once. He chained out.
It was a
If
practice
he,
round, but
if he threw the disc maybe a
yeah.
little bit softer, it might have gone in. He was just too big.
So y'all were in a completely different environment than what I'd say you probably normally play in here in Texas. How was the course?
Dude, it was tough. I mean, I I don't want to speak for all these guys, but this is probably one of the top 5 most like well-known difficult courses maybe in the world. Like the course that they set us up at is really, really cool because it's like, or the championship course that we got to play the most. It's like they had amazing, beautiful properties all over the place, but this one championship course, like, I mean, if you play disc golf, you know what that course is, and there's a lot of holes that are daunting. There's water all over the place, and so a lot of opportunity to go out of bounds and a lot of opportunity to kind of like blow up and not execute well. But the wind was up, and that's something that we aren't totally used to. I think the best way I can put it is some other teams might have had an advantage knowing how to play in wind better from where they're from. Like teams are from Kansas, teams are from a lot more central states. They know how to deal with the wind a lot better than we did. But it was really windy, a lot of lakefront properties, so a lot of opportunity to go out of bounds in the water. But I mean, the courses were gorgeous. We touched on it earlier, but the properties they set up for us are amazing, and it's nothing like what we have here in Texas. Just tall trees, beautiful water, everything is green. Like they did a great job with upkeep. Innova and College Disc Golf did a fantastic job setting it up, having a tournament central. Everything was clear, and I mean, having 5 courses was a big step up from last year. I think 'cause it was kind of tough getting everybody's rounds in last year, only having 3 courses total, and so this year there was no stress at all knowing you weren't going to get your round in or you're going to have a course to play or a variety of courses to get to play because we were there for a week, and so getting to play a lot of different properties was really, really cool.
I think one thing that was pretty different from Texas is there was definitely a lot more elevation changes on every hole, as opposed to like here you maybe get 1 or 2 holes, but there you're at least the courses we played you're getting elevation changes pretty much every hole. So I think that was definitely a big thing. But definitely like having the right discs, like one of our sponsors, Elevation, they make like rubber discs. Having those so they don't like roll away was especially helpful for some of the shots.
I got you, Ash.
But I say I thought I had one in my room, but
Yeah. So this is a sponsor that he's talking about. As you can see, like these can just fold up.
and this one's a little more normal, doesn't have a lot of give to it, a lot more stiff, and then his is a lot more like bendable. So like you're gonna eliminate the chance that anything will roll away or anything's gonna do like it's very, very predictable ground play, which is a big deal with elevation changes for sure. It's funny their name is Elevation, and that's kind of like what it helps us with. It's kind of cool. That might be the whole idea. I have no idea, but it's clever either way.
Yeah, I mean, Asher and Josh kind of touched on everything I would kind of say. And again, just to reiterate, the property was gorgeous. It was beautiful. Um, the best way I can compare it for people that probably know golf more for sure is I would tell my dad, imagine a bunch of college kids going to play Augusta, which is kind of the way that I was telling him. It's like, in terms of the disc golf, that course is one of the most prestigious courses in the world. So just to even be on it and have the chance to play it, something kind of out of this world, it was crazy. It was really nice and something that I'm sure we're all grateful for.
Mhm. What aspects of this championship course do y'all think for your own game maybe helped you out with the style that you play, or maybe kind of hindered your game a little bit?
Yeah, I think a thing that I'm pretty good at is staying in the fairways a lot. And so, I mean, Ku and I talked about how we as a pair kind of like one guy would need to throw a safe shot and then one guy would throw an aggressive shot. And so I think on a course like that where there's a lot of out of bounds, a lot of water and stuff, um, I think something I do well for the most part is staying in bounds, playing a lot safer, playing a lot more conservatively, and not blowing up. So these courses set up to where like if you're staying in the fairways, you're going to score well, and if you're not going out of bounds, you're going to score well. So it's like whoever stays the most clean is going to probably have a good chance to win the tournament, and the teams and the players that are going out of bounds the most often are probably going to be the ones that suffer the most on a course like that. But also the other way, whenever we do get aggressive, I mean, if we're not staying in bounds, then there's not a lot of opportunity to make big things happen. So staying in the fairways is a really big deal. But if you can't throw with distance and also staying in the fairways, then it's definitely difficult to try and score hot rounds, especially in team rounds where you definitely want to shoot lower than you would in your singles rounds.
I think the championship course for me, I guess I would say it suited my forehand a lot. Um, there's some shots that are just like put as much power as you can into it and just let it rip. So how Asher said, him being able to stay in the fairway kind of gave me the confidence to be able to go out and perform some of those shots. And vice versa. Not, I'll be really honest. There's definitely some moments where when it was my turn to stay in the fairway, I would not give Asher the best shot. And
Only a couple times, but we did a really good job for the most part.
but yeah, there's a few holes that I can recall where I would throw my shot out of bounds or not in the best spot and look over at Asher and just tell him, sorry, dude, you also have to play safe. But like Asher said, it's something that played to both of our weaknesses and our strengths. And I will say, I think one of the strengths that both Asher and I have is our putting. So I'm sure during our team rounds, we were lighting up the putts. We were able to hit some big ones and keep ourselves within scoring range and allow ourselves to attack the course.
I think for me, at least like my division, we played a more shorter course that didn't have a lot of whole lot of out of bounds or trees. And I think that was one thing that didn't play to my advantage. I tend to like a more difficult course, as I usually just play more like par golf. I don't get a ton of birdies. Usually get like a few. Whereas this course was, you had to get a lot of birdies to finish well. So I think that made it a little difficult. But other than that, I think the last course we played was a more woods course that was harder. I think that players played really well for me because I really like playing woods golf. So that was one of the team rounds we played and we finished well.
And then the last thing I want to ask y'all, just the atmosphere of being at a collegiate national championship. What was that like?
Dude, it's
Uh,
unreal. It only continues to grow. Like I don't even know if college disc golf existed 10 years ago or something like that. Like I don't know, Josh, if you know about like when college disc golf started. Do you have
Probably
any
like
ideas?
8 years ago.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a relatively new thing where I think when they first started, it was just a bunch of schools that knew that they had players that played and they got together and played against each other. And then fast forward 8 years, and there was, I think, something like what 750 students that took a week off of school to go compete in this. And it's definitely more of like a nationally recognized organization now, college disc golf is. But it's so cool seeing like how many people like showed up and how many different schools we had. There's people from across the country, and there was two teams. There's a team from Canada and a team from the UK that came to play in it. And it's just wild, like getting to, because I mean, whenever you play rounds, you don't know who you're gonna play with. And so you're having conversations with guys that could live thousands of miles away from you at any given time. We also had a couple of events where all the teams came together and got to hang out. We had like introductory ceremonies and chances to take pictures as teams, and it's wild seeing like a third of a basketball arena, a third of like a Division 1 basketball arena was like filled with college students. And I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen this many people that play disc golf in the same place at the same time, aside from like professional events. Like it was unreal. And everybody's so supportive. Like everybody wants the same thing. They want the game to grow. So it's really cool seeing that many people for that niche of an activity showing up and wanting to just grow the game and be there and compete. It was really awesome.
I think one unique thing about it is it's a PDGA major event. So there's only I think 5 of them, right?
Yeah, I think
For,
it's if you count like the like AM Worlds and stuff, it might be like 5 or 6, but not a whole lot more than 5 or 6.
yeah, there's only like 5 or 6 of them every year. And majority of them are reserved for professionals. So it's very cool to be able to say that you played in a PDGA major because most of us honestly aren't gonna go become professional disc golfers. Some of us might, but a lot of us on the team probably won't pursue that route. So being able to say that you did that is just really cool. And being able to say you played in that type of atmosphere. And it's just cool because they have everything like set up, a bunch of flags, and just everything's just really well done, and well set up. It makes you feel that you're playing in like a very prestigious event.
Yeah.
yeah, for me, it was kind of surreal. Both of you guys have experienced a national championship before, and me being a freshman, it was my first time ever experiencing something that big. I've only been playing disc golf for so much, and to be honest, aside from maybe one pro tournament that I had the chance to attend, like Asher said, that's probably the biggest gathering of people that I've ever seen. Like just to play disc golf. So it was something kind of surreal. See the environment, see the amount of people that Asher said want the sport to grow is something that's awesome, and I hope that it gets bigger every year.
Yeah, I love getting to like talk to my friends, and they're always like, oh, what's disc golf? Or they've never heard of it or anything like that. And being in a place where there's like, I mean, so many people that know what's going on and everybody understands it. It's super, super cool.
Very cool. Thank y'all so much. That's all I have for y'all.